And it's 3, 2, 1. It is live. Hey, Internet friend, this is MagicBrad, Asheville, North Carolina, and Synergy Cafe Online. And I've got an interview today with a friend of mine I just met. He's over in Australia, and his name is Darren. Darren, are you there?
I'm here, Brad. How are you?
Doing well. I'm not sure here if you're there. Your picture came up. Sometimes this works with the voice, and sometimes it doesn't. So it looks like I'm going to manually shoot it back and forth. Yeah, before you used to work with the voice, and then your picture would come up. But it looks like it might not be doing that, so I'm going to make sure it is. Tranquility. I see tranquility in the background. I like that word.
Yes.
So the way I do these interviews, I just get to know who, what, where, when, how, and why, and then we get into some general conversation. So we'll start off first with, who is Darren Maxwell?
Who is Darren Maxwell? Psychic shaman, the modern urban shaman, is how I've come to know myself. It's been a journey of about 25 years, going through different stages of spiritual growth, different stages of spiritual development, and ending up doing a standard education course through university over here in Australia to be able to supplement my spiritual learning with community learning. So I'm a social scientist, a coach. I'm halfway through a master's degree in social science, but I'm also a spiritual person who does psychic work. I do shamanic healing. I do shamanic work up and down the East Coast here, and connect with the spiritual people.
Okay, well, that's the who. You kind of touched on the what you do, and it looks like the overall thing is shamanism, and some people don't really know what that is. I describe it as like Native American spirituality, but perhaps maybe you can enlighten us more on what shamanism actually is.
What a controversial subject shamanism is. Yes, everyone's got a different idea of what a shaman is, from an indigenous Aboriginal Australian living out in the outback here in Australia to an American Indian to someone up in Siberia in Russia. Everyone has a different thought of what a shaman is. But a shaman is someone who works between two worlds. We work between the soul world, the energy of creation, and we work between the physical matter, mine and yours, life. So we divine between those two worlds. And Bali is one of the places that still holds those traditions. All of the old shaman in Bali still work at that level. They work between the two worlds. They still divine before they heal. They still have a foot in both worlds, so to speak. We may have lost it a little bit. I'm not sure about America, but a lot of the people who call themselves shaman here are doing it as a media way of getting through. They just call themselves a shaman. They don't live by the shaman ways and traditions. So very hard, and it's very hard to pack up and go and live by a fire somewhere. Really difficult. I love my microwave oven and my shower.
Okay, well, that kind of segues into the next question, and that was going to be where. I was going to say, where do you do this practice? And you could have answered it. It is in two different worlds, the spiritual world and the physical world. And then you also commented on one of my most favorite places, and that is Bali. So it sounds like you do some of these things in Bali, and I'm assuming you also do some work via Skype and locally and things of that sort.
Yeah, I do. I do it. I call myself a modern urban shaman because I do it in over in Bali, I do it via TV, I do it via Skype, I do it via the telephone. But what I find is tonight, it's 10 o'clock tonight here in Australia, and I've just finished doing a class, and it's group energy where people can feel the energy transfer, and they can be part of what you're doing, and the passion that you share really makes a difference. So the face-to-face is always important, being able to be in each other's aura and sense those things. While this forum can get people in touch, it doesn't deliver the whole energy. So that's how I prefer to do it, face-to-face, in a circle, where we're all sharing and we're all able to interact immediately. That's what's good about Bali. People in
Okay, I think
Bali.
we're definitely on the same page there. Part of my vision for the whole Synergy Cafe thing and all the things that I'm doing is to get the online chatter into real life activity. So I'm behind you. I'm way over on the other side. It's quite a trip over there to Bali, but I would like to connect with you over there and perhaps go through one of your classes. The other quick question I was going to ask, that was the where. I was going to say, like, when do you do this? You said it's 10 o'clock and you just finished a class, so what do you work like 24 hours? Do you got a pager on your side where if someone wants to do a session, they can just call you up immediately? Or when do you do your practices in your profession?
In many ways, it does work that way. Yeah, the mobile phone is like a pager on the side. Last night I got a phone call at 6:30. Someone wanting me to come and do something with them immediately. And my partner Robin does meditation, and she had the room full till 9 o'clock. And I made the appointment and said yes, all right, I'll see you there in an hour. And then Robin said no, you won't. We're too busy. So yes, it does. If the person needs it and it's there and then, yeah, I only live 10 minutes away from the rooms I work from, and I can be there in 10 minutes, and if they need it, that's what's available. So that's the role of a modern shaman, just like it used to be the role of an ancient traditional shaman. When the tribe needs you, you hear the call and you go to do the work. So, yeah, whenever and wherever.
Shaman on call.
Yes.
Just call them up. I need a shaman right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to get into the how, but we'll get into that a little bit later because that's very complex, I guess, how things happen. But the one question I love to ask everybody when I do these interviews, and that is the why. Why is it that you picked this as a life path, or why aren't you like a coffee barista at Starbucks, or why don't you own a gas station or a McDonald's franchise? Why did you pick this path?
I'd love to be able to take credit for picking this path, but this path picked me. I grew up in what I call a normal suburb, and what you'd say is a generic family existence, and went to work at 15 and did a trade and got married and had multiple children. And then this path picked me at about 36 years old. So for the last 20 years, I've been fully into shamanic study and shamanic wisdom. Just prior to that, I was slowly working my way in, because it's a calling. It's not a chosen path. You definitely get called, because sometimes it gets very hard. The world of a shaman is not. It probably looks good in movies or reads good in books, but in real life it can be very difficult, but then the difficulty turns into really good rewards. So you learn to live through the bad times as well as the good. So it's not a job, it's a full-time occupation, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it called me. And I honestly think if I stopped doing this, and I have over periods of time, trying to establish whether that McDonald's life, that McDonald's manager life would be a better life. But no, it doesn't work for me. I have to do this.
That seems very similar to my wife's situation. She's also a shaman. She studied Peruvian shamanism, and yeah, there's definitely, it's not of this world. Some amazing things happen, and they are trials and tribulations kind of situations where you think like, what's going on with my life? And then all of a sudden on the other side of it, it's good. We used to live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we were up against the wooded area, and there was a turkey that used to come to our house and walk up the steps and sit on right by the door. I don't know why, but it was kind of strange that they would just sit there at our door. And then another situation, I don't know if you have blue jays over there, but I actually hear a blue jay in the background right now. There was a flock of blue jays in our front yard. There was probably 15, 20 blue jays, and they don't flock. I don't think they're a flocking type bird, but there was a whole bunch of them. And just bizarre stuff like that happens, and I could go on and on.
Happens all the time. Yeah,
exactly.
happens all the time. I've had those experiences. The east coast of South Australia, we've got Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. And I've lived in the 3 states, and I'm currently in New South Wales near Sydney. When I was up in Queensland, we've got big lizards over here called goannas, and we have bush turkeys, and we have kookaburras. But the goannas would actually walk in my front door, and they are a wild animal. But they would walk in the front door, walk straight through the house, and walk out the back door, and it would be as if we were part of their home. So the connections with the animals really does. And the flocking animals, there can be something occurring at a certain time in your life, and the animals will come and flock, and they will come and talk to you, and they will come and tell you what's going on. It is a very strange world indeed. And you have to listen. That's the good part about it. Yeah, you don't get away with not listening to what the creatures of nature tell you. That is part of being a shaman, yes.
Yeah, another situation, we were at her mother's house over the holidays, and we're just sitting there and looking out the window, and all of a sudden a big giant bald eagle lands in the tree, probably 20, 30 feet away, and then a hawk lands next to that, and I think there was a crow that landed next to that, and it was kind of...
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not sure what all that stuff means, but she's...
They all turn up to tell a story, and your wife probably heard the story. And what happens is the transition of the energy happens so automatically. It's like the lovely little dog you've got in the background. They're part of the family, and you know when the dog wants something, you know when the dog needs something, or you know when the dog is telling you something. That is exactly the same with the creatures of nature. And when they turn up in threes, it's a sign. And when they turn up as different, you are getting different messages. But what will happen? The shaman will walk away from the experience, and then slowly the messages work their way through. So it might be a week later, a month later, and it'll all fall into place, and then you'll go, oh, that's what I was learning from that experience. Because we're always learning, we're always challenged to learn something new. Every day is a new experience.
Yeah, really that little dog in the background, her name is Indigo, but I nickname her Magnet because she follows Monica all over the house. It's amazing that she's here now, because I think Monica's in the shower, but other than that, she's always with Monica, and I call her Magnet, and whenever Monica's down, the dog is down. Whenever Monica's excited, the dog is excited. It's very much mirroring. So let's get into some stuff about like some of the workshops and classes, and if you've got anything coming up in Bali, and if anything is, I'd love to help promote it, because that's what we do at the Synergy Whole System and all. So if you've got anything coming up, let me know about that, and could you share that with us? Any events or workshops?
Yes, workshops I do on a regular basis over here in Australia, and they evolve everywhere from shamanic intuition, where I teach people a basic introduction about shamanism, the different sorts of shamanism from cultures that we find all around the world, and the common thread that weaves through every shamanic culture around the world. Then I introduce them to divination, which is the tool that a shaman always uses. It's an interesting concept. You mentioned it about your wife, but when you're called, you're called. So when a shaman uses a divination tool, it doesn't matter what tool it is, they have to believe that in their heart they follow the rules of the divination tool, just like they would expect someone that they're healing or someone they're teaching to do. So you have to know your tool, you have to know what you do, just like any other Trojan would, and believe in it. So I teach that first to people. Then I move them on to learn with the divination tool. So as they commit 12 months to learning with the divination tool, learning all of the energy that surrounds it, and it becomes part of them and who they are. So every time they do a divination, it comes naturally. And that's not something that's normal in suburban society. Then we take people away to places like Bali. We also do Vanuatu, and we're doing Hawaii next year. But Bali holds that intense spiritual energy that nowhere else in the world holds. Even in Australia, if I was to take you out to the most ancient sites, it doesn't hold the same level of energy that you get in Bali. So in Bali, my partner and I take people over. My partner is a meditation teacher, a meditation expert, and she takes them into the cosmological aspect of the infinite. She takes them into the potential of all things, and where they can rest in peace. Clear their mind and get them into a blissful state is what they call it. And then as a shaman, I bring people out of that state and get them into an awareness of their childhood psychic energy. We're all born as psychic beings. For the first 4 years of our life, that's all we function on. We've got a little bit of conscious connection, but not a lot. Most of it's happening at a subconscious level. Until 7, it's all gone, and by the time we're schooled, it's completely gone, and by the time we're 21, well, we're just walking down the street with everyone else. So I take them back to that place of where they're about 2 or 3 years old, so they're coming out of the pure bliss, learning how to be a psychic energy. And once they connect with that psychic energy, that subconscious that keeps the heart beating, that subconscious that makes the blood flow, that subconscious that makes the earth turn, and the subconscious that makes the sun burn, when they connect with that, they begin to connect with the shamanic energy of the universe. So once I take them out of there and into their normal daily lives, they are then able to use that connection to help with business decisions, help with financial decisions, help with relationship decisions, and make their life flow better. That's what psychic shamanism is all about. It's connecting with that subconscious thought first. So that's what we do in Bali at one level. And then we have other different retreats which take people further in and then further in until they are at a level of mastery. So everything really follows a 3-level stage that if it's a perfect world, they do it over a period of 5 years to 7 years. In an imperfect world, some people get very wrapped up and they want to do it all in a month, but things just don't sit in a month. It takes 7 years for us to completely regenerate all the cells in our body, and that's why I like to drag it out over 7 years. So they learn, live the experience, and then come back for more a bit later, learn some more, live the experience, learn some more, and then live the experience, finally to achieve mastery. It's amazing how many people think they can achieve mastery in a weekend at a workshop. It just doesn't happen. Sorry, will never happen.
Well, wow, that was some deep stuff. I love what you said about the subconscious level that makes the heart beat and the earth turn and the sun burn. That kind of really connects it to the universe kind of thing. And then another thought came into me. You're talking about Bali, because I've been there. I know it's an amazing place. And my wife has never been drawn towards the Asian culture. And I started thinking, and recently some things have been coming up that have been pulling her towards that, with some jewelry and things that she's found that she's had, but now it's popping up that has that Asian vibe to it. And then I was thinking it might be very interesting to have you and her on here where she can talk about the Peruvian thing on this side of the planet and you could talk about the Aboriginal thing on the other side of the planet. And it would be fun to have you guys chat.
Fantastic conversation. Yes, I would.
I definitely want to get her over to Bali so she can, because it is it's a bizarre feeling when you get there. She would buzz.
I have not, and my partner and I have been taking people over for 6 years. My partner Robin have been taking over for about 6 years, and we have not had anyone that has not absolutely fell in love with the place, totally been enchanted with the people, the culture, the environment. It is absolutely blissful. Everyone is happy. You can't walk down the street in Bali without every person saying, hello, how are you? Isn't it a beautiful day?
The only thing I don't like is the dogs.
Where we go up in Ubud, the dogs have been not controlled, but the real dog problem has been taken care of. Now they're just pets. They're not roaming the streets like they used to. So the cleanliness in Bali is a lot better than it was, say, 5 to 10 years ago. The streets are better. You can almost walk down the street without falling in a hole. And just, for anyone who's been to Bali, they'll know what I mean. But the people are what does it. They are the friendliest people in the world, and they make any trip to Bali absolutely worthwhile.
Well, I like to keep these things kind of short because I really don't want to take people's too much of their time. If they want to talk more, I'd like them to connect with you directly and connect with me directly if they want to do one of these hangouts. So it's 8:20 right now, so we've been on for about 20 minutes, and I'd like to sign this off and then propagate it up to the internet, and then you and I can chat for a little bit if you'd like. So if you got anything else to say, go ahead, and other than that, I'm going to maybe sign this thing off.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk on Synergy Cafe, Brad. It has been fantastic. Anyone trying to find me, it's www.modernurbanshamanism.com. I'm on Facebook, Darren Maxwell on Facebook, or Darren Maxwell Psychic Shaman on Facebook. You'll find me there. We've got a retreat going to Bali in October this year. So if anyone's interested, or I think Brad's got retreats coming up, do not miss out on the opportunity to be on the island of the gods. It is fantastic. So thank you very much, Brad. I'll sign out, say goodbye to everyone, and hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll be getting very close to going to bed.
Okay, if you'll hang on for a little bit, we'll chat after this, but I'm going to stop the broadcast. So thanks anybody for watching what's happening here on Synergy Cafe, and I will have links and things in and about this on posts and such, so you can make connections with Darren and myself. So be well, enjoy, peace, love, and happiness. Magic Brad signing off.
Thank you, Brad.